April 14th, front page Thursday to be more exact, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. Later in the show, we will be taking a look at our HAN Network community newspapers this week. Also, Rob Adams has the latest sports news and a look at the forecast, and Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. But first, we have the latest area headlines, including that it was a bit of a mess earlier this morning at some Metro North stations. Trains out of Darien and Norotan Heights experienced delays this morning after an unattended bag at the Rowayton Metro North train station caused suspicion. MTA police were called as well as a canine unit, and the bag was eventually cleared, but residual minor delays remained in Norotan Heights for a few hours. Also, the New Canaan line experienced delays after a non-passenger train derailed at about 7 in the morning. According to the New Canaan Advertiser, there were no injuries, and by about 10:30, the New Haven line service was back operating on or close to schedule. Milford police are seeking a man in connection with a bank robbery that occurred at People's United Bank at about 2:15 in the afternoon yesterday. Police described the suspect as a heavy-set white male, aged late 20s to early 30s and approximately 5'8". They described the man as having worn a brown puffy-style jacket and a blue baseball hat with the letter L. He was described as having a goatee and facial hair. Police say the suspect entered the bank through the front door and approached a teller, passing a note that stated, "Give me the money and you won't get shot." According to witnesses, no weapon was displayed during that robbery. After receiving the money, the suspect left on foot out the rear door towards Central Avenue. A police canine was used to track the suspect to the area of Central Ave and Lafayette Street, where it is believed he fled in a vehicle. Anyone with information is asked to contact detectives at 203-783-4798. The Connecticut Bankers Reward Association is also offering a $500 reward for information that leads to the arrest of the suspect in the robbery. And Trumbull police and U.S. Coast Guard rescuers quickly found a boater who issued a distress call, but he was 5 miles inland. Reverse 911 subscribers in Trumbull and Stratford received messages Tuesday asking them to call authorities if they may have tried testing a satellite positioning hardware for their boats. As it happened, somebody in town had been testing a personal emergency position indicating radio beacon and had inadvertently triggered the search. Trumbull Police Lieutenant Leonard Cinto, a spokesman for the department, said it was an accidental activation, and through the use of the reverse 911, the person was actually activated the transmission, saw the reverse 911, and notified authorities that it had been an accident. U.S. Coast Guard officials said the transmission began 5 miles inland and that the test modes or procedures are frequently poorly marked on the devices. Monroe police used DNA to identify a 20-year-old Bridgeport man who was already behind bars for a previous crime for theft of a truck and stealing from another vehicle back in December in Monroe. Maurice Bacon, formerly of Norman Street in Bridgeport and now a resident of the Bridgeport Correctional Center, was arrested Wednesday by Monroe police on charges of criminal possession of a firearm, third-degree larceny, theft of a firearm, identity theft, and illegal use of a credit card. Monroe police said that on December 15th, officers were called to a Tulip Drive home on a report of a stolen 2002 Chevy Silverado pickup that was taken from the driveway during the night. The vehicle had several valuable items in it, including a handgun. During the same night, another vehicle was reportedly entered less than half a mile from the stolen truck. There, a purse was taken from the car. The victim was notified by her bank of a suspected fraudulent activity. The credit cards were used for attempted purchases in Bridgeport and later in Norwalk. The stolen truck was recovered the following day in Bridgeport, but without the weapon. Monroe detectives processed the vehicle for prints and DNA, identifying Bacon, who is a convicted felon. Also using store surveillance video, Bacon was also identified as the suspect that attempted to make those purchases with the stolen credit card. And Norwalk police say shots were fired last night during a vigil for a homicide victim. On April 13th at about 9:18, the Norwalk Police Patrol Division responded to a report of shots fired in the area of Washington Village Housing Complex. Officers arrived quickly and found a large group of people walking away from the area. Officers interviewed the group and subsequently located 2 shell casings in the roadway along with 2 handguns. The investigation by Norwalk detectives indicates that a group had gathered in the area to pay tribute to a homicide victim. Tribute candles were found on the sidewalk in the area where the evidence was located. The incident appears to be isolated in nature, and police said no individuals were targeted. However, anyone with information is asked to contact the Norwalk Police tip line at 203-854-3111. And presidential candidate Donald Trump will be in Hartford on Friday night. His campaign has confirmed. Trump is expected to be at the Connecticut Convention Center at 7 o'clock on Friday. Annika Deming, the communications manager at the venue, said that the event will be standing room only, and the hall can accommodate about 8,000 people. Tickets will be required and can be found on the Trump campaign website. On Thursday, Trump opened a Connecticut headquarters in Berlin. With Connecticut primaries looming at the end of the month, political candidates are spending their time and money to get the attention of the state's voters, while delegates are still up for grabs. Ohio Governor John Kasich visited Sacred Heart University last Friday to campaign. We're going to throw it over to Rob Adams now for the latest forecast. Rob?
All right, Kate, good morning, everyone. We have a sunny day and a high near 57. Tonight, clear with a low around 33. As we move to Friday, a sunny day and a high near 60. To Friday night, clear and low of 37. It's going to get good, though. Bear with me. Saturday, sunny and 61. Sunday, sunny and 67. Monday, mostly sunny and 68. We drop back down to 60 on Tuesday, but Wednesday will be at 56. And the temperatures as we get really into Sunday at night will be more into the 40s. So we're getting a little bit warmer, a little more positive, and I have a feeling those temperatures might even climb a little bit higher. As we look around, Ridgefield is at 51, Greenwich at 51, and Shelton has 53 degrees.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, we're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Dang takes a look back on this day in history. Rob has the latest sports news, and we have some more headlines coming up after this.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or go to coastalorthoexpress.com. That's coastalorthoexpress.com. Like them on Facebook.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well. Until April 30th, choose $150 cash for a Smeg toaster when you open a My Bank Well Choice checking account with a minimum of $2,000.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Dang, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock Monday through Wednesday right here on the HAN Network.
And we're back on this Thursday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and it's time to take a look back with Donald Eng. Don?
Well, Kate, thank you very much. It is April 14th, and we're going to start in 1846. The Donner Party of pioneers departs Springfield, Illinois for California. The journey traditionally took about 4 to 6 months, but the Donners were stranded in the Sierra Nevada mountain passes for the entire winter, where the 32 members of the group were eaten away by disease, dissension, ineptitude, and, for that matter, each other. To 1865, President Abraham Lincoln is shot in Ford's Theater by John Wilkes Booth. He would die the following day. Booth's co-conspirators were Lewis Powell and David Herold, who was assigned to kill Secretary of State William Seward, and George Atzerodt, who was tasked to kill Vice President Andrew Johnson. By simultaneously assassinating the top 3 people in the government, Booth and his co-conspirators hoped to cause the collapse of the United States. Seward would be wounded but survive. Atzerodt would lose his nerve and never actually shoot Jackson. 1912, British passenger liner RMS Titanic hits an iceberg in the North Atlantic at 11:40 p.m. It would sink the following morning. Interestingly enough, Titanic sank 2 hours, 40 minutes after striking the iceberg. That's 50 minutes less than the running time of the movie. And finally, now we go to 1981, where we saw this for the first time.
We're down. 50 feet. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown. Those gears, 10 feet. 5, 4, 3, touchdown. Hook the ball, skipper. Welcome home, Columbia. Beautiful, beautiful.
That, of course, STS-1, the first operational space shuttle mission for the Space Shuttle Columbia. Columbia made 57 orbits around the Earth over 2 days. The shuttle did sustain damage to its heat shield and protective tiles during the flight. Commander John Young later said that had the crew known the extent of the damage, they would have re-entered the atmosphere and ejected. Despite that, the mission was considered virtually perfect. Columbia would make 27 more flights. That is your look back in history, and I am Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, getting back to a little more news today, after Hartford's majority legislature fell $540 million short of addressing Connecticut's $930 million deficit estimate, Governor Dannel Malloy revised on April 12th his office's February 3rd midterm budget proposal by axing all funding through the Education Cost-Sharing Grant for a list of towns that includes Weston. Malloy's plan calls for eliminating education cost-sharing grants for 28 of the state's wealthiest school districts and reducing the grant significantly for other towns. According to the Weston Forum, Weston is currently being funded at about $845,000 through education cost-sharing. Malloy's plan would have the town receive none of that. The fate of the grant could be decided on May 4th at the end of the current legislative session or possibly sooner, but will most likely be after Weston's budget referendum on April 28th. Weston School Superintendent Colleen Palmer said at the time the proposed 2016-17 budget was adopted that the Board of Finance did not know the governor's intent to eliminate the grant. She said now that we have heard it, the Appropriations Committee is going to recommend some reductions. Unhappy with the governor's proposed cut, Weston First Selectman Nina Daniel said if the grant is eliminated, the cost would not be passed on to Weston taxpayers. All right, we're going to throw it back to Rob Adams for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Rob?
Thank you, Kate. We had baseball yesterday afternoon. Stanford and Staples met at Staples Field, and it was right here on the HAN Network. Let's have a look at the highlights. To play baseball from here at Staples High School, 2 out, top of the first. Lined right back up the middle. It's a base hit. Hitting the bag at third is Lopez. Panzer will play it, bring it in, and he comes home without a slide. Now the throw back to second. He's a dead duck and out there. So it'll go as a single and an RBI. Bring the run home, Lopez, but Rodriguez living dangerously, and that will turn into an 8-2-6 putout, and the inning comes to an end. So he's deep, the 2-1. push to third, a diving try, grabbed by DeVito, the throw, got him! It's a ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. He swings, deep drive, left field, to the track, to the wall, it's gone! A solo shot for Elliott Pooley. It just got over the fence in left field as Nicolopoulos tried to take a look at it, and that's all he was able to do. Watch it go. We've got a new ball game. We're knotted at 1. They indicated to him, you know, you can run all 4, but there was one thing he forgot. Here's Kasparius with a blast to left. Watch it go to Fairfield, 2-1. That thing was tattooed. A majestic blast to left, and Staples takes a 2-1 lead. Runner off first. He swings, line drive to center, starting in Baldati. Now going back, it's over his head. Rounding second is Fanning. He'll head toward third. He gets the wave around third. Knight on his horse. The throw is in plenty of time, but bounces away. Scoring, Fanning, safe at third. 3-1, Staples. D'Onofrio brings it home, shows bunt, first base side, it's a beauty. The run scores, the throw at first, he is out. But the safety squeeze works beautifully. From the stretch, runner off second, here it comes. He swings, ground ball left side, charging in. Chad Knight grabs, throws across, dug out at first, got him, ball game over. And the Staples Wreckers go on and get this win. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. The final score here at Staples High School. The Staples Wreckers 4, the Stanford Black Knights 1. So the Wreckers do get the 4-1 win. I want to go back, though, to that highlight you saw of the play at first. Sam Arciola with that ground ball to the left side looked to our angle like he was safe. You saw Jack McFarland come out and argue with the first base umpire. To paraphrase his quote, as you could see when he comes out, and he's very demonstrative, he points to our cameras at one point and says, it's a 1-run game and you make that call on TV. Kind of funny for us to be part of the story. Elliott Pooley and Ben Kasparius had back-to-back home runs to ignite that 4-run 4th inning for the Wreckers. Chad Knight and Mike Cusa also had RBIs. George Goldstein got the win, tossing 4 2/3 of scoreless relief. Mark Saricchio had the Stanford RBI. Elsewhere on the baseball scoreboard, Darien put up a couple of touchdowns on Ludlow. It was Norwalk by 7 over Danbury. West Hill a big win over Greenwich. Trumbull throttling St. Joseph. Then a squeaker, New Canaan by 1 over McMahon 4-3. Ward all over Trinity Catholic as well. Let's head over to softball now. New Canaan a 15-1 win over McMahon. It took 11 for Danbury to beat Norwalk 2-1. West Hill got by Greenwich 3-1. Stanford with a 6-0 win as Sarah Staley threw a 1-hit shutout. Ludlow shut out Darien. It was Ward over Trinity Catholic. St. Joseph knocked off Trumbull 3-2. Wilton over Central 12-3. From boys lacrosse, Weston beat McMahon 13-4. Girls lacrosse, 2 scores. Darien over Notre Dame Academy of Massachusetts 13-9. And Ward over Trumbull 15-6. The winners in boys tennis were Fairfield Ward, Greenwich, Fairfield Ward again over West Hill, Brunswick also with a win, and Wilton knocking off Central. From girls tennis, it was Ward over Trumbull, Ludlow with a win, Greenwich and New Canaan the other winners. From boys golf, Danbury over Trinity Catholic at Richter Park, and Ridgefield over West Hill and Stamford, and that at Brennan. From girls golf, it was Danbury beating Ridgefield, and from boys volleyball, Darien took care of the Fairfield Co-op 3-2, Ridgefield over Greenwich 3-0, and Staples shut down Trumbull 3-1. On the schedule today, if you like a little matinee, noon in Weston. Fairfield Ward and the Weston Trojans will get together. Massac and Danbury play later on at 4, while New Milford host Greenwich and St. Joseph at Bethel. From softball, Ward at Bunnell And you've got Danbury at Bethel, Ludlow at Massac. In fact, that Ward-Bunnell game is about 20 minutes in now at Bunnell High School. Boys lacrosse, Central is at Ward, and Staples taking on St. John the Baptist in New York. That is in New York later today. Stanford and New Canaan meet at Dunningfield, and Conard goes to Ludlow. Girls lacrosse, Newtown at Staples, Danbury home for New Canaan. The John Jay Indians from New York come to Ridgefield to take on the Ridgefield Tigers, and McMahon is at Ludlow. Boys tennis, West Hill at Danbury, New Canaan at Trinity Catholic, Fairfield Prep is at Staples. From girls tennis, West Hill home for Danbury. And from boys golf, head out to Ridgefield Public and watch Ridgefield take on Danbury, or at girls golf, it's at Silver Spring and it's Ridgefield hosting Staples. So busy day in sports yesterday, busy day in sports today. That is normally the spring MO with sports. I'm Rob Adams. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, getting back to a little more news today, a Danbury man was arrested for driving drunk April 10th after his car swerved and almost hit a parked Wilton police cruiser. Around 6 a.m., Johnny Fernando Castro Fallarda, who's 31 years old, was northbound in his 2000 GMC van on Danbury Road near School Street when he swerved right and came close to the side of a police cruiser that was parked at the east side of Danbury Road. After stopping Castro Fallarda, police smelled alcohol and had him take a field sobriety test, which they said he failed. However, he refused a breath test. Police arrested Castro Fallarda on the charges of DUI, failure to drive right, and driving without a valid driver's license. He's scheduled to appear in court on April 21st. And Milford beachgoers used to be able to park pretty much wherever they wanted along the streets around Walnut Beach. But this beach season, there will be some restrictions, and police will be issuing tickets to violators. The Milford Police Commission has been reviewing parking around Walnut Beach for several reasons. A bigger crowd has found its way to the beach in the summertime, and many beachgoers park in the streets and throughout the neighborhoods, sometimes parking where they shouldn't. Milford resident William Perry told the police commission that when the beach is full, there is havoc in the neighborhoods. He said some people even park in their driveways. City officials expect the problem will get worse now that the parking fee for Walnut Beach has been raised from $5 to $15 for non-residents. So, after reviewing several drafts of a parking plan for the Walnut Beach area, the Police Commission voted Monday night to create 2-hour parking zones, no parking zones, and Milford resident-only parking zones, which they believe will begin to fix the problem for area residents. And in other news, the Hewitt Center for Breast Wellness at Griffin Hospital and Seymour Pink are co-sponsoring a free breast health seminar for the community that's taking place on Thursday, May 21st at Griffin Hospital. That's at 130 Division Street in Derby. The event will feature dinner at the hospital's dining room that starts at 5:30, followed by Nancy Capello, director and founder of Are You Dense, Inc. She'll be presenting a program called Are You Dense? Being Smart About Your Breast Health. In addition, Dr. Denise Barajas, medical director for the Hewitt Center for Breast Wellness, will discuss the latest in preventative health for breast cancer and trends in breast health. The event is free and open to the public, and you can register by calling 203-732-7233. We are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, John Kovach is going to join me, and we're going to take a look at our front pages this week on your coffee break after this.
At the Sylvan Learning Center of Darien, experienced teachers and personalized academic support equals superior results. At the Sylvan Learning Center of Darien, experienced teachers and personalized academic support equals superior results. Our certified teachers uncover skill gaps, address specific needs, and help students realize greater academic success and increased confidence. We're enrolling now. Individualized after-school tutoring in reading, math, history, elementary math, algebra, geometry, calculus, high school science, and study skills. For a free consultation, call 203-655-3276 or email gmcsylvan@gmail.com.
Alberto Londano Professional Painting, Wallpapering, and Carpentry has been serving Fairfield County for over 20 years. Based in Norwalk, Alberto takes pride in his work by offering you only the best quality service and products. Call Alberto today to get a free estimate and be one step closer to a new and exciting home makeover. 203-866-9635.
Do you need help reaching or maintaining your fitness goals? For over 20 years, Mike Pernice has tailored his time and expertise to clients on both coasts whose schedules demand flexibility and accountability. Mike is a certified lifestyle manager and has been called upon to help his clients eliminate negative behaviors such as coping with stress, improving their time management, setting realistic life goals, and cutting down compulsive behavior. If you're ready to start working toward a more energetic, productive, and healthier you, call Mike Pernice.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure every Thursday at 2 on the HAN Network.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Join the HAN Network and Make-A-Wish Connecticut to help make travel wishes come true for local kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Donate your unused airline miles to the HAN Network Wishes in Flight campaign. Together we can share the power of a wish.
Today's coffee break is brought to you by Family Vision Centers. Did you know that 80% of all learning in a youngster's first 12 years is through the visual system? Well, in spite of that, children are the least likely age group to visit an eye care professional each year. At Family Vision Centers, with 2 convenient locations on Main Street in Stratford and in Boston Avenue in Bridgeport, quality is affordable. They have state-of-the-art equipment to assist doctors in diagnosing and treatment of eye-related issues. You can reach the Stratford office at 203-377-2020 and the Bridgeport office at 203-333-2020. Find out more at familyvisioncenters.net. And we're back on this Thursday edition of your Coffee Break. I'm joined now by John Kovach to take a look at the front pages of our HAN Network newspapers this week. John?
How you been?
I've been great. How have you been?
Doing okay. Busy week with the newspapers as budgets wrap up and some breaking news. And every now and then, though, you've got to take a deep breath and look around and just appreciate what's around you. And that's exactly what a 9th grader at Greens Farms Academy, Madeline Canning, did in New Canaan when she captured this just majestic shot of a bald eagle. That's at the New Canaan Reservoir between Country Club Road and Luke's Woods Road. That's on Saturday the 9th, and that's just 2 beautiful photos of that eagle, which I don't recall in all the years I spent in New Canaan seeing one there.
I've still never seen a bald eagle in real life in the wild. So
first one I saw was in Stratford.
See, and I'm out a lot and on walks, so I'm really trying to find one. I'm on the hunt.
You'll see one.
All right. Well, I'm taking a look at the front page of the Stratford Star. Stories we talked about this week on Coffee Break. A Sunday fire destroying 2 abandoned buildings on Frog Pond Lane. Those buildings are going to have to be torn down because they were so heavily damaged, and officials are worried that people will go in them. And it was intentionally set as well, so they're investigating that fire. And the Town Council in Stratford ending talks with the Stratford Stage Group, so the future of the Shakespeare Festival Theater is still uncertain as usual.
Exactly. That's
just keeps going.
The same. So many of Shakespeare's plots were reworked, just changed the characters.
Yeah.
You almost got the same thing
Exactly.
with the theater. In Wilton, a new principal named for Miller Driscoll School. That is an administrator from Greenwich who is joining Wilton schools. The library raising $110,000 at its gala, and the naming of the distinguished citizens for the year. That in Wilton.
All right, taking a look at the Shelton Herald, a very sweet little feature about a group of Shelton High students helping a resident celebrate her 102nd birthday by a special request from her daughter, that these students reach out to her and sing to her and give her a special birthday. So very cool story there. More serious story, home invasion suspect found hiding in the Housatonic River after he assaulted an ex-girlfriend. So scary story there.
The Easton Courier is kind of a celebration of ingenuity on its front page this week. The lead story is a recounting of how an avid dirt biker who knows woods and trails, Steve Klein, found a missing man from Newtown who has safely been returned home, and that occurred just a few days ago, April 6th. And then there's some wonderful photos of inventions that kids made at the invention convention. Just some really cool ideas there. They always come up with the best stuff that you wish you'd come up with yourself once you grow up.
So cool. Well, I'm taking a look at the front page of the Ridgefield Press. Taxes in Ridgefield set to go up 2.63% in the budget plan that's going to be going to voters, and the school board trying to find ways to live within a budget after some proposed cuts to next year's budget proposal. And of course, nice little sidebar, something we've talked about, but our HAN Network FCAC tour visited 17 schools recently, interviewed hundreds of athletes, so cool there. Definitely check that out.
Another thing the HAN Network is involved in is the Wishes in Flight campaign. We got a great update on that last week. The Monroe Courier has that on the front page because it's a retelling of a Monroe child whose wish was granted. And we're profiling different children who have their wishes granted each week throughout the newspapers and websites of the HAN Network.
Very cool. Well, I'm taking a look at the front page of the Trumbull Times. A resource fair and presentation will look to combat substance abuse in Trumbull. That is scheduled for Tuesday, April 26th. And administrators urging parents and students to attend Dr. Mark Brackett's presentation just about prioritizing an academic advancement there for students. So great front page there.
In Reading, every item passed the special town meeting. So they're moving on there. And the first touches of green as seen in blooms on a tree.
Yeah, pretty soon the trees are going to be exploding, John.
They're close. Can't wait.
All right, well, taking a look at the Weston Forum, they've been doing a very cool series, as we've been talking about, profiling all the local farms. And this week it's Latchet Town Farm, and just talking about some of the great offerings they have there and how they're aiming to be a social experience. So very cool.
Awesome photo of a kid on the front of the Lewisboro Ledger, and that is Julian Pideria. I know I mispronounced that, Pideria. And he is dressed as Iron Man building a robot. That's at the Lewisboro Library's Comic Con. Very neat shot. You can tell he's having fun there. And the Board of Education in Lewisboro adopting a budget for the new fiscal year.
All right, well, I'm taking a look at the front page of the Milford Mirror, a little bit of a patio makeover in Milford at Lisman Landing in the downtown. They're going to be redoing the patio there. And an interesting story I thought that Jill Dion worked on about 2 Milford homeless men who have died in recent months. She kind of did a profile on what's happening on the homeless population in Milford. Great job there by Jill.
That's something you don't think about in this area, and it is there. It is a problem.
Yeah.
In Darien, the details revealed of a new downtown development that will certainly impact taxes, which are going to go up 2.48% this year. Great shot of volunteer firefighters on Saturday, April 9th, which was Volunteer Firefighter Day, visiting with members of the community. And another profile of a Make-A-Wish child, this Connor O'Neill, whose wish was to eat pasta in Italy. He got to do it.
That's
Fun
so
story.
Cool. It's really just amazing. And as we've said, John, those airline miles just mean so much for Make-A-Wish. So if you have some to donate, so important. It makes the coolest wishes come true for these kids.
It really does. And it was kind of amazing to me to read that 70% of the wish requests that they get involve travel.
Yeah.
And anybody who travels know it can be very expensive. So if you've got miles that are just there, let them have them for Make-A-Wish. Let's make these kids happy. Let's get this thing to the next level.
Yeah, ct.wish.org/HAN network, and you could donate your miles there. John, coming up at 1 today, Yankee Fisherman.
We will be talking with a representative of the American Museum of Fly Fishing, and they have an exhibit going on that has some of the oldest flies known to man. They're still intact. They're still in letters where they were sent from people. In the old handwriting, you know, these have worked on such and such a stream. Kind of cool there. I got out on opening day and filmed it. It was a bit brisk, but I did find people catching fish, and we'll take a look at that.
Very cool. All right. And coming up at 2 o'clock, of course, HAN Arts and Leisure with Sally and Steve. So check that out then. And we're going to wrap things up on your coffee break today. John, thanks for joining me.
Anytime.
All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow at 11. We'll see you then.